Hello everyone. So in this video we're going to be working with tile sets and basic collision. So as you can see, our room is a little bit devoid of anything other than our player. So we're going to change that. In order to change that, first we have to go up here to backgrounds and create resource. Then we have to load a background, which is the one beside the new image button. And then navigate to your Tilesets folder and click top down, and we'll do the floors first, so go ahead and open that one. And then down here where it says use as tile set, go ahead and click that. You shouldn't need to change anything else, but just make sure that the tile width and height is 16 and 16. This will just make sure that each tile is 16 by 16, just like the character sprites. So let's just rename this to TS underscore floors, I guess. So whenever I'm doing tile sets, I always change the prefix of the background to TS for tile set. So that's probably a good practice for you to get into as well. So we are done with this one, but we need one more. So go ahead and create another resource. Basically do everything that you just did. Instead, we're going to choose the walls. Alright, so choose use a tile set, and then change the name to TS underscore walls. Alright, now that's our backgrounds done and our tile sets imported. So in order to add our tiles to our room, go ahead and open your room here. You can zoom in by holding Control and then zooming in with your mouse wheel up. Alternatively, you can just hit these buttons. This is zoom out and this is zoom in. Just zoom it in to where you feel comfortable that you can actually see everything. Okay, so next we want to navigate over to tiles. Now by default, the current layer is 0. Now the way Enigma, LateralGM, handles tiles is a little bit weird, and I don't really understand it myself, but basically the way as I understand it currently, each layer can only use one tile set at a time. So in order to import our all of our tiles that we need, either we have to use one tile set for everything in the game, or we have to change the layer depending on what tile set we use. So our current layer is 0. So go ahead and select TS walls by coming down here to this button, clicking it, and it should be in this list. And then select any one of the colored brick walls here, the top left corner, and then click it here. Then select the tile to the right of that. Then you want to hold down Shift and drag that from this point all the way over to this point, and from this point all the way over to this point. And then the top right goes here, and then the second one here is the two walls. Whoopsie. You want to make sure you try your best not to get it outside the walls or within the inside boundaries. So basically it just needs to be like this. And then to complete it, this one here is the bottom right corner, and this one here is the bottom left corner. Okay, so that's our walls completed so far. So all we have to do is hit add, and then we need to change the depth to +1. And then on this layer, change the tile set to floors by once again clicking this thing and going to floors. And then we're going to use the lighter gray here as our current floor tile set. So just like you did with the outside walls, go ahead and go all the way around with the floors here. Okay, now once you get to this point, I'm going to show you a little trick that actually makes it so much easier than we were just doing it in order to do this. So go ahead and select the middle tile right here, and then go up here to where it has the cursor and then the rectangle and the fill bucket. Go ahead and click the rectangle. Then drag from around this corner in this spot all the way down to this point. You'll see it selected the inside area, and then just go ahead and click this fill bucket. And then once you click the fill bucket, go ahead and just select that again. Now as you can see, if you turn off the grid, that is our tiles completed. So that is pretty much all we have to do for tiles. So if we go ahead and click save and run it, you'll notice that the room will now have its tiles exactly the way that we just set it up, as you can see. Now it is a little bit small, and that's because our room is so small, but let's make it a little bit bigger. Go to Views in your room editor, click Enable the use of views, click Visible when room starts, and then we're going to edit the width and height. The width is going to be 320, the height is going to be 240. We have to change the object following to object hero. The horizontal border needs to be 320, the vertical border needs to be 240. So let me explain before we move forward what each of these does. So the width and height are pretty obvious. If you'll notice that there is a white outline now going around the entire room, that is dictated by, or the size of the box here is dictated by these numbers. So if I change this to like 100, for example, as you can see, the outline now is here. Now then, this is basically the size of what you see inside of the window that you create. So currently we are setting it to view the entire room at a size of 320 by 240, but we need to upscale the size of the window itself to make it a little bit bigger. So in order to do that, we have to do port on screen. And as you can see, these ones are still 640 by 480. Let's change these to 960 by 720. And if you're using a lower resolution monitor, then this might be too big, but if it was fine where it was at, then you don't have to change these. But otherwise, 960 by 720. Now, if I go into the game now, you'll see that it is much, much bigger. As you can see, we can plainly see the entire room now. Now, something I want to point out before I close this window real quick. At the moment, our player can walk right outside the room at any point. So, we want to change this. We do not want our player to be able to walk outside the room. So that is what collision is for. Go ahead and create a new group within your sprites called collision. And then create a resource within collision. And hit the middle load button. That's add subimages. Go ahead and click that. And then go to your sprites. And where it says general collision, go ahead and open that. Change the bounding box to full image rectangle. Change the sprite name to SPR Gen Col. That's COL. And click OK. Now you can collapse this box so we don't need the sprite anymore. Now, in order to actually add that collision object to the thing, go to Objects and create resource. Assign the sprite General Collision. Rename it to General Collision or Gen Col. And then click the visible box to make it invisible, and click the solid box to make it solid. Next, we have to change the depth. Now this is purely for our benefit when creating rooms, and I'll show you why we have to do this here in a second. Actually, you know what? I'll just go ahead and show you right now. So right now, if we try to add our collision objects to the walls, you see that a lot of them are invisible. And that's what this is going to fix. So if we change the depth here to negative and then just add like 7 nines or something, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then click save. Now if we add it, you can see that we can see all of them. Now this is actually very important because we need to be able to see every collision object that we add, just to make sure that they are actually there. So go ahead and outline the entire room on all the walls with the collision that you added, that you just created. Now before we can test this, this will not actually currently work in its current state, at least not perfectly. We need to do one more thing before it will work. So go to Object Hero, and then go to Modify, go to Add, Collision, Object to Gen Call, and then drag a piece of code over here. And the only thing that we're going to add in this one is move underscore contact underscore solid, open parentheses, direction, comma, 12, close parentheses. Now what this does is it, actually I'm not 100% sure on the exact functions, but what it does at a basic level is it checks whether or not you can move within a specific direction, and if you can't, then it will push you back this many pixels. So it'll just reset your position based on what you're colliding with in this instance. So go ahead and click OK, click Save, and test. And if I did this correctly, you will obviously see that we will no longer be able to exit the room. Okay. Yes, as you can see, the player cannot exit the room. That is exactly what we want. Now you'll notice that the player sprite overlaps a little bit with the wall. This is due to the bounding box that we edited earlier. So the new bounding box makes it to where the player will collide with the wall, but only after a certain point, basically. So yeah, that is how to import your tile sets and use tile sets and whatnot, and also how to import and use general collision. I think that's about it for this video. In the next video we might do animations, and we might even do something else, but I haven't decided really what we're going to do in the next video yet as far as that goes. So anyways, if you enjoyed watching, then leave the video a like and subscribe and share it with your friends if you want to. I mean, anyone you know who wants to get into game development and doesn't know where to start, then just go ahead and refer them to this video. So anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.